Good morning, students. Welcome to Chanakya Academy online classes, Standard 12th, Science, Subject Biology, Chapter number 13. So, let's start with this chapter. Yes, so yesterday we have just seen few of the abiotic factors. Now let's move further, that is the response to abiotic factors. Okay, well, how exactly they are responding to this abiotic factors. Okay, so let's start. One would accept that during the course of millions of years of their existence, many species would have been evolved a relatively constant internal environment that permits all biochemical reaction and physiological function to proceed with maximum efficiency and thus enhance the overall fitness of the species. Okay, so they are saying that from the billion of years, okay, as the organisms are continuously evolving, they are adjusting to the environment. What they are facing is that their internal as well as external reactions were stable at that time, and due to their stability, due to their fitness, their species remained into origin. Okay, so this constancy, for example, could be in terms of optimal temperature and osmotic concentration of body fluid. Okay, so whatever body fluids they have, whatever temperature they are getting, that made them alive. Ideally, then the organism would try to maintain the constancy of its internal environment, that is homeostasis. Okay, despite varying external environment condition that lead to upset its homeostasis. Okay, so each and every organisms that were previously a million of years ago, they were having some internal environment that were hemostasis, and that condition was stable, and as the condition was stable, that organism could survive. Okay, yes, now let's move further. Let us take an analogy to clarify this important concept. Suppose a person is able to perform his or her best when the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius and wishes to maintain it so. Even when it is astonishingly hot or freezingly cold outside, it could be achieved at home, in a car while traveling, and at workplace by using an air conditioner in summer and heater in winter, when his or her performance could be always maximum regardless of the weather around him or her. Here the person's homeostasis is accompanied not through physiological but artificial means. Okay, so how they are explaining is that if a person can live comfortable in 25 degrees Celsius, that would be the temperature where he find herself or him very comfortable in that situation. Okay, outside the condition can be either hot or cold, it doesn't matter, but inside the house, inside the home, inside the working place, he can find it very suitable. Okay, either by using air conditions in summer or in heaters in winter. Okay, but he finds very comfortable at that temperature, that is 25 degrees Celsius. So we can say that is the hemostasis of that person. Okay, and that is accompanied by artificial means, either by using air conditions or heaters or any other ways. But using these conditions, he can survive. How do other living organisms cope with the situation? Let us look at various possibilities. Okay, So this is where we are talking about in reference to humans. Now how other organisms survive in these harsh conditions. So first one is they regulate. Okay, some organisms are able to maintain homeostasis by physiological means which ensure constant body temperature, constant osmotic temperature. Okay, all birds and mammals and a very few lower vertebrate and invertebrate species are indeed capable of such regulations. Okay, they can regulate their body temperature. Okay, by thermoregulations or by osmoregulations, and these regulations make them survive. Okay, evolutionary biologists believe that the success of mammals is largely due to their ability to maintain a constant body temperature and thrive whether they live in Antarctic or in Sahara Desert. Okay, either in extremes, whatever conditions they are living, they can control or maintain their body temperature. Okay, and if they can maintain, if they get success, then their evolution and the survival rate is very high. Okay, so we have to regulate our body temperature. The mechanism used by most mammals to regulate their body temperature are similar to the ones that we human use. We maintain a constant body temperature. Okay, so what we have a constant body temperature, we humans. Okay, regularly we have constant body temperature, that is 37 degree. So in summer, when outside temperature is more than our body temperature, we sweat forcefully. Okay, we sweating is a common thing which we usually find. Okay, the resulting evaporating cooling similarly to what happens with the desert cooler in operation, bringing down the body temperature. Okay, so why this sweating is there? Because this sweating result in evaporation of water, and when water evaporates, cooling of our body is happening. Okay, and in winter what is happening? When the temperature is much lower than 37 degrees Celsius, we start to shiver, a kind of exercise which produces heat. Okay, so when we shiver, what is happening? Continuously our hand and legs will move. So when we are doing that thing, our body generates heat, and as it generates heat, our body temperature rises. So this is how we can maintain our body temperature in both the conditions. Plants, on the other hand, do not have such mechanism to maintain internal temperature. Second is conform. An overwhelming majority of animals and nearly all plants cannot maintain a constant internal temperature. Okay, this they cannot maintain. Their body temperature change with their ambient temperature. Okay, they can change. So there are some organisms which can change their body temperature according to the environment body temperature. Okay, in aquatic animals, the osmotic concentration of the body fluid changes with that of ambient water osmotic concentration. So this is in aquatic animals. These animals and plants are simple conformers. Okay, so what are they telling about? That in aquatic organisms, as osmotic concentration is changing, okay, they are changing their morphology, they are changing their forms also. Okay, so we can say that the water osmotic concentration, it is changing, so they are changing their body fluids concentration also and keeping it balanced. Okay, considering the benefits of constant internal environment to the organism, we must ask why these conformers have not evolved to become regulators. Okay, so regulators are what they are regulating it, but conformers are not regulators. Okay, now see, they have explained with a very good example. Recall the human analogy we used above. Much as they like, how many people can really afford an air conditions? Okay, human can become stable, okay, and feel comfortable by using air conditions if the temperature is appropriately 40 degree or 35 degree. But each and every house or each and every home will not have these air conditions. Okay, so what they will do? Okay, so many simply sweat it out and resign themselves to suboptimal performance in hot summer months. Okay, so they will opt for some other optional where they can feel their body or they can make their body comfortable in that situations. Okay, so thermoregulations is energetically expensive for many organisms. It is particularly true for small organisms, small animals like squid and humblebees. Heat loss or heat gain is a function of surface area. Okay, so if you have large surface area, heat loss is more. Okay, and if you have less surface area, then automatically it will be less. So since small animals have large surface area relative to their volume, they tend to lose body heat very fast when it is cool outside, when they have to expend much energy to generate body heat through metabolism. This is the main reason why small animals are rarely found in polar regions. Okay, so this is the main reason the small animals they are not found in polar regions. So during the course of evolution, the cost and benefit of maintaining a constant internal environment are taken into consideration. Some species have evolved the ability to regulate. Okay, there are some species they can regulate their own body temperature, but only over a limited range of conditions. Okay, if the stressful external conditions are localized or remain only for a short duration, the organisms has two other alternatives also. First one is migrate, where we can say there are many animals which cannot tolerate that particular temperature. So what they will do, they will migrate that area and they will move to that conditions, that area which suits them. Okay, so what they will do, they will migrate. So the organisms can move away temporarily from the stressful habit to a more hospitable area and return when stressful period is over. Okay, so this is a thing which some of the organisms are not doing. Okay, not all organisms, but some organisms that cannot tolerate that stressful conditions, so they move to very hospitable areas. Okay, in human analogy, the strategy is like a person moving from Delhi to Shimla, okay, for a duration of summer. So we have hot summers, so we will move to the cool areas. So there are many migrating birds which you have heard. Okay, there are many animals which are traveling from one area to another area. So they are traveling a long distance migration to these safe areas, to these hospitable areas. Okay, every winter the famous Ellora National Park, that is Bharatpur in Rajasthan, hosts thousands of migratory birds coming from Siberia and other extreme cold north regions. Okay, so Siberia, as you know, they have a chilling winters. So from their area it comes to different areas where they find themselves more comfortable. So this is migration, they are moving. Last is suspend. Okay, this is seen basically in lower organism. Okay, in bacteria, fungi and lower plants, various kind of thick wall spores are formed which help them to survive unfavorable conditions. Okay, this you know that they have this tendency where they form a thick wall, and this thick wall can keep their spores safe. Okay, so some bacteria, some fungi, during unfavorable conditions, they form this thick wall spores. Okay, what do the higher organisms do? In higher plants, seeds and some other vegetative reproductive structures serves as a means to tide over period of stress besides helping in dispersal. Okay, so in higher organisms the seeds are produced, and these seeds protect, or we can say save them from these stressful conditions. Okay, and when they will germinate only when they get the favorable conditions. And what will be that favorable conditions? They need proper water and temperature. So moisture content and temperature content plays a very important role for the germination. Okay, so in higher organisms, okay, if we talk about, they germinate to form a new plant under favorable moisture and temperature conditions. So whenever they are getting these favorable conditions, they will germinate. They do so by reducing their metabolic activity and going into a state of dormancy. Okay. So what will they do? They will reduce their metabolic activity and they will come into a dormant period. In animals, the organisms, if unable to migrate, might avoid the stress by escaping in time. The familiar case of bears going into hibernation during winter is an example of escape in time. Okay, this you must be knowing that there are bears, the polar bears, they hibernate, okay, for months, where they can be saved from the extreme climatic conditions. So they can escape the time. How they can escape the time? By hibernation. Okay, some snails and fish go into estivation to avoid summer. Okay, so these are the two conditions where the animals can do. They cannot migrate, but what they can do, they can escape the time. How? By hibernation. Hibernation is that process which is taking place during winter. Okay, and estivation is the time of escaping during summer season. Okay, so if the heat is more, so in some fishes and snails, they will go into process of estivation and hibernation into winter season. Okay, so under unfavorable condition, many zooplankton species in lakes and ponds are known to enter diapause, a stage of suspension development. Okay, so what is this stage exactly? This stage is where the organism, it make its own species, okay, into a suspended development. The development becomes very, very, very slow. Okay, only some of the process, that is the breathing process, they will do. Rest all the process will be suspended for a period of time. Okay, and that stage will be known as a diapause. They will pause their life. Okay, so what they will do, whatever energy which is stored in their body, they will utilize that energy. Okay, by not moving from one area to another, they will move into that area where they feel safe, and they will slow down all their activities. They will pause their activities. So this is basically done by many zooplanktons which are present in lakes and ponds, where the summer, due to summer, it becomes dry. Okay, the water becomes dry. So they pause their life, and this stage is known as diapause, a stage of suspended development. Okay, so today we just studied about four important things, okay, that they were asking us to. Okay, that is response to abiotic factor. Okay, that is response to basically in terms of climate, in terms of temperature. Okay, if the temperature is moving, if the temperature is not favorable, if the temperature is not supporting, what are the other possibilities the organism will do to survive in that situation? So either they will regulate their body, they will conform their body, they will migrate, or they will suspend their body. So these are the four main topics which we did today. So with this I end today's lecture. Tomorrow I will again come and we will study a next important topic, that is adaptations. Now see, this adaptation topic I know you have studied, so we'll quickly go through these topic and we will see few of the example of adaptation. So with this I end today's lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.